Chloe, so we've been talking for a good time now about how things can get, well, feel at least like it can get very out of hand quickly with the children, Fletcher and Sophia. And in those moments when things are starting to feel like they're getting more chaotic, you can feel very overwhelmed and stressed with parenting and can be very quick to even yell at the kids, which you really don't like doing. And in fact, mentioned as one of your goals to reduce the yelling at the kids. When you think about parenting situations with Chloe, with Sophia and Fletcher, are there particular parenting moments that are more stressful than others?
I really just feel like I'm stressed out all the time. Um, but okay, let me think for a second. I hate taking them to the shops.
Okay.
But taking them to the shops is very stressful. Bedtimes,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
um, that can get out of hand. Not all the time, but it can get very stressful.
Mhm.
Um, Trying to take devices, like when they've been on them for too long, and I usually overreact. I think, yeah.
Okay.
What
Okay.
about you?
So immediately, what comes to mind is shopping,
Yes.
taking the kids shopping, both kids.
Yeah, yeah, I try to take both of them to give John some, like, alone time.
I see. So shopping is highly stressful, and at the same time, going to sleep, getting the
Yeah,
sleep routine going is very difficult.
yeah, but
And
sometimes because John's there, it's the 2 of us and it's easier, but
oh, okay. So that's important. So having John there during the sleep routine makes it somewhat easier.
yeah,
Yeah. Still stressful though.
very, very.
Very stressful. Absolutely. And the third one you kind of mentioned there was also devices. So I imagine that you mean like being on iPads or
Yeah, or
telephone.
if they're watching YouTube on my phone and stuff. Mm,
Now, out of those three, just for today's session, because it can be very useful just to focus in on one
yeah,
particular situation that we can start to bring this compassion focus towards to try to get a sense of practical things we can do.
yeah.
Out of those three, is there one that would be more helpful for you to focus on for today?
Um, all of them. No,
Yes, of course.
probably I'm just thinking, like, probably shopping because that's just me,
Uh-huh.
and I like taking the kids shopping, gets them out of the house,
Mhm, mhm.
um, and it's something that I have to do. Yeah, probably that.
Okay, so
And
shopping
I
is
have Yeah, and I don't know what to do there.
okay. Don't know what to do. Yeah.
Mm.
When you say not, you don't know what to do. Do you mean in terms of making it go smoothly? You don't know what to
Yeah.
do, or do you mean
Well,
it? Okay.
like, as in, I'm so, like, just I'm really worried about how that I'm gonna people are gonna judge me about my parenting is, like, on display when I go shopping, so I feel really like I
Oh,
don't know how yeah, I just don't know how to be a good mum there without getting angry or yelling or, you know, just yeah.
I see. So, and that's really key difference between those other two situations you mentioned in terms of sleep routine and devices at home. Shopping, you're out in public and people can
Yeah.
see you. And do
Yeah.
you feel a really a strong sense that others are watching you and thinking you're a bad mother?
Yeah, do you know, it's weird, like, even just talking about it now, I can feel, like, my hands getting, like, I'm
Mhm.
like, "Ugh, taking them shopping is so hard."
So your hands start to tighten. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and how's that feeling like then for you? What is it, would you say?
It's like I feel like really tight, like anxious, I guess is the word, but like, yeah, really, I feel really tight and here and here.
On the shoulders, you can feel the anxiety and and perhaps almost like an edginess, like I'm on edge,
Yeah.
or it's somewhat about this is going to be a big event and I don't know what to do.
Yes, it's a big event, exactly. Or it
Okay.
could be a big event. I'm ready for it to escalate.
Yeah, it could be a big event. Absolutely. Okay. Okay. So this is important then. So let's have a think about when you go shopping with your kids. What would you usually do to sort of get yourself ready to go shopping with the kids, just to get a sense of how it is for you at the moment?
Um, I suppose getting ready, I think I get so caught up in going like what's going to actually happen in the shops that it's just a matter of getting there. So we
Uh-huh.
just
Yeah.
get in the car. Um, I'm yeah, they they're little kid, like they're 4 and he's nearly 8. Like
Yeah.
they're already stressed in the car. I want to listen to this, I want to listen to that.
Right.
I tell them, okay, let's, okay, you need to be good. We get out, we're at the shops, and then I'm trying to, just think about what we need to do, what I need to get.
Mhm, mhm. So there's a sense of we're in the car, we got to get going. The kids are already going with quote unquote demands of what they want to listen to, and that kind of, you're already feeling anxious about this, and that kind of can kind of increase the kind of frustration with the
Yeah.
activity. Okay.
Yeah, it's like I could even I've already usually I've already yelled at them in the car.
Yeah. I mean, just even thinking of your last shopping experience, as you then got to the shops and worked your way through that, event, how was that?
Oh, we didn't finish. We left.
Okay,
I was
what happened?
and I forgot so many things. I was yeah,
Okay, okay. What happened there during the shopping event that led to you leaving?
they just wouldn't listen. I just wanted to yell, but couldn't. And just got, I don't know, I was just so stressed. They kept walking away from me.
Mhm.
I kept telling them, you have to stay next to me. You have to stay next to me. And they wouldn't listen. I was like, get over here. And then this other woman in the aisle, I was like, okay, I just got to go. I thought I was going to cry. I was like, I just got to go.
And so the other woman was kind of shaking her head at you. Is that right?
Well, she kind of just gave me a look like you can't handle your children. You're
How were you feeling when
and
you
you're
know?
yelling at your kids.
How were you feeling in that moment when you caught her looking at you in that way?
I was like, yeah, you're right. Like I just felt like, yeah, I am. Yeah,
I
I
see.
deserve it. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a good mom.
Oh, okay. I'm not a good. How does it feel to hear that aloud right now?
Uh, it makes me a bit sad. Like it makes me feel like I'm doing a disservice to my kids. Like they probably,
Oh, right.
like, and they're good kids,
Yes,
but
I
I'm
see.
a bad mom. You know what I mean? Like they're just, and I like they can be so lovely and so sweet, and then
Mhm,
I yell and
mhm.
I'm I just don't know and I don't know what else to do. Just
I
get
see.
so overwhelmed.
Yes, of course. Yes. And what happened after that? So you left the shops and you got home. What kind of happens next?
Like back at home,
Yeah. Is that what happened? Did you go home?
yeah, we just went straight home. Um, I try to apologize,
I
but it's
see.
hard. Um, because because also I'm trying to explain to them, if you just listen to me, we could have finished the shop. We didn't have to leave if you were just listening and if I didn't have to get angry.
Mhm.
And then I just feel like go play on your device. Like I just tell them go hop on the iPad and I'll
Yeah.
unpack the shop and
Yeah.
just keep thinking about, hurting them, I guess, like yelling at them.
So you
just,
kind of, that goes over your mind, the fact that you yelled at them and so on.
yeah, because yeah, because I think about how my mum used to do it. I'm like, how did she do that?
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Like, because she could. I don't remember her ever yelling at me, and this is all my kids are going to remember is that I was a yelling mum.
I see. And that's kind of what you were mentioning right at the beginning of our time together, this idea that to not yell is really important to you. And immediately in this shopping event that you kind of just described there, memories immediately came flooding in on how did my mum cope with this situation, and look at me.
She had
And
4 kids.
I see. Yeah.
I can't even do it with 2.
Yeah, yeah. I see. So that hurts. That brings up a lot of hurt for you.
Yeah. Well, like, I guess hurt and like,
Maybe not hurt, maybe a better
is it
word.
like shame? Like I feel like
Shame. Okay, brings up a lot
I'm
of.
not good. I'm bad.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Okay. That was a lot in there. I can see, when you mentioned, this being very difficult, it's very clear why it would be difficult. I mean, you're going in already feeling it in your body, the anxiety, just even talking about it, coming in through your hands and the tightness in your shoulders. And then in that last shopping experience, I should say, it was stressful.
Yeah.
Kids weren't listening, others looking at you in ways to make you feel like you're not a good mother and leaving you to go home. And then, of course, uh, ruminating on how people judge you in that way and bringing up memories where it makes you even feel like that kind of confirms in some ways
Yeah,
that you're
it does. Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
Okay, well, let's have a look at how we might be able to perhaps help in a small way with the shopping, because you said it's really important to you and it's something you'd like to focus on today in all of the different parenting things we could focus on. And let's have a look at how we can use this compassionate self we've been sort of talking about over the last few sessions. So what I'm going to invite you, if you're willing, is for us to briefly do a compassionate self-induction. Now, we've done a few of those before, so I'll do a shorter one, not quite so long, just a couple of minutes, to get us to feel like we're embodying that compassionate self.
Hmm.
And then come back into the room together, and then have a think about what you might like to do, being this compassionate self, this compassionate version of yourself. In this position, what you might be able to do when going shopping, or what it is that you think you might be able to do. Now, nothing might come, but it's just an opportunity to try, if we're to embody this, how would the compassionate self think, feel, and want to do to be of help? How does that sound?
Yeah, good. Okay.
Okay, okay. Well, let's see how it goes, all right?
Yeah, yeah.
So always, remembering the process by getting our body posture into position. So feet flat on the ground, shoulders back, chest open. And when you're ready, you just might like to gently close your eyes. I'll do that as well. Maybe take a deep breath and just let out all that stress around that shopping scenario. Just letting it go. And just connecting with your soothing rhythm breathing now. So that's that breathing in for 5, out for 5. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just try to go with that soothing, rhythmic breathing. Just for the next minute or so. And as you're doing this, just remembering we have our inner friendly voice tone to support us and our gentle, friendly facial expressions to help. Just starting to feel slightly more grounded in the body. We're just going to begin the process of becoming our compassionate self. So remembering as our compassionate self, we have a deep wisdom that we just find ourselves here as part of the flow of life. With a tricky brain that can get us caught up in different worry loops or anger loops. And then we've got a mind that can fear the worst and replay over and over again the difficulties of the day. And it's not your fault that the mind does this. So you have this deep wisdom that it is not your fault. You have a human mind that does and has these emotional experiences, which are very difficult and challenging and tricky. And as your compassionate self, you also have this wisdom of wanting to approach these challenges in more helpful ways, which is what you're doing. So you have this within you. You also have a strength, and that strength comes partly from this grounding, that work that we're doing, the posture of our body, which helps supports us. The strength to move towards what's difficult in a way that can help. And you're committed to trying to be helpful, knowing that it's tricky at times. You're not always going to have the right answer or best answer to a situation. But your compassionate self is committed to trying to help you in those moments, knowing that it can take many times. And your compassionate self is committed to helping you. But just trying to feel that within your body, your compassionate self, who has this deep wisdom, strength, and commitment to try to be helpful, and certainly not hurtful or harmful. Trying to be helpful when coming into contact with challenges. So Chloe, just imagining you're this compassionate self, just imagining what it would be like if you were in this, as you are now, compassionate self. What would shopping look like for you with the children? Just think of it in your own mind's eye, what you could be doing as your compassionate self. How would you be thinking about shopping? Where would your attention be? What would you be wanting? What would you be doing? Just play with those kinds of thoughts in your own mind's eye. Okay, so we've just done a short induction into this compassionate self, starting to get a better appreciation for the space around us. And when you're ready, Chloe, just opening your eyes. So Chloe, as your compassionate self, when you think of going shopping with the kids, with Sophia and Fletch, what are you thinking about? What comes to mind? What could you do?
You know, I had this thought about how when we're there, how flustered, I feel, like trying to think about everything, and even like taking the time to like prepare a list.
Uh-huh.
What are my meals for the week? What do I need? What do I need to get? And doing that, that would
Okay.
probably like alleviate one thing. But you know what else? And then I was thinking about that further. Um, and I thought, what if I don't know if this is a good idea, but even like gave Fletchy some more responsibilities? Like, even he's a good little reader. If he helps me read the list, and if he,
Yeah,
because that
yeah.
would also like keep him distracted as well, and not distracted, but like give him a job.
Yes, yes.
Can you go and get, okay, what's next? Okay, we need to get 5 bananas. Let's go get that.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
You know?
Yes, yes, yes.
Um,
So that's excellent. So as your compassionate self, when you think of going shopping, one thing at least that can perhaps make you feel like a sense of stress is alleviated, I think
mm,
you said,
yeah.
was to prepare a list. So these are the meals I'm going to cook for the week. This is what I need to get. And that would help reduce the tendency to get flustered, perhaps. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so that's something that would be different, having a
yeah,
list. And okay, awesome. And the second thing is even thinking about perhaps giving Fletcher some responsibility. You said he's nearly 8 now, and perhaps as you're shopping itself, you can say, "Hey, can you get 5 bananas?" or something like
mm,
that.
mm.
So, what do you think of those two, at least, as suggestions?
I'd be interested to see. It's this is wild. I'm actually like wanting to go to the shops to try it out,
And try to.
and I don't think I've ever
Wow.
felt like that before. Like
Oh
I'm
wow.
I'm
Yeah.
interested to see how that might work.
So there's part of you that's quite almost well, you say interested, but almost there seemed like almost an excitement there around, hey, let's see if this let's test this out. How will it go?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So as your compassionate self also, when you were thinking about taking the kids shopping, uh, was there anything else that kind of came up that you noticed that you could do that would help you and help the kids?
Like making sure that, I don't know, I thought about like when I have been there, I haven't been doing any of those kinds of stuff that we've talked about, like just make like trying to settle myself, like breathing, like
Oh,
doing
okay.
stuff. Like if I'm like, okay, where they've gone. I
Mm-hmm.
don't, do you know what I mean? Like I don't have to just make sure that I take that time
Yes. So it's
before
like
I go straight into a reaction, I suppose.
so it's kind of in the situation itself. It's kind of like remembering to connect to my breath,
Yeah.
try to get my green circle activated by
Yeah.
kind of slowing, and that might help me instead of reacting with the yelling. It might give me space.
I even thought about that in the car getting there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, instead of, yeah, when they're having their little fights in the car, instead of going straight to just making sure, okay. And then saying, okay, so Sophia, you're first, what song? Fletcher, you're second, what song?
So taking that moment to breathe like that gives you more strength, really, to come in with a greater sort of composure, almost
Yeah,
with how you're giving the kind of instruction or whatever it might be.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cool. Okay, that's cool. Okay, in thinking in just relation to shopping as well, we've had a look, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but as you're kind of reflecting on what it is you could do to help shopping, you've kind of almost created some, categories throughout the event. Like, what could I do for preparation, like preparing before going? So it seems like you're going to have to put in some time there to determine what meals you're going to cook, to work out what ingredients you need. So they're kind of preparation tasks, and what could I give for perhaps a job for Fletcher and then maybe Sophia, or what might be possible there. But you've started to think in that kind of category in terms of
Yeah.
preparing,
Yeah.
right? And then you've already started to move into, okay, what could I do during the event? During the shopping itself, and you've already highlighted, like, if things aren't going well, remember my breathing.
Yeah.
So the idea is, how do we help trigger the kind of remembering into breathing? Can you think of anything that might help with that, to try to, as you're in the event, that might help you connect to your green circle, or kind of, try to come back down to a kind of more of that kind of compassionate, composed Chloe?
Is this too literal? But even if on my list I wrote breathe, like just up the top.
That sounds fantastic to me. I mean, would it help for you?
Yeah, I think because I forget,
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
get caught.
Well, there are two things there, really. It's bringing a list with you, and it seems like in the past you've kind of just, it's been like in your head, it, but you just kind of have to launch into it to get it over and done with it as quickly as possible because it's so stressful.
Yeah.
Would you typically bring a list with you when you go shopping?
Um, no,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
so dumb.
No, no, no,
And
no.
trying to think about, oh, I know sometimes when I'm there, I'm like, I should have thought about this
Yeah,
beforehand,
yeah, yeah.
but no, I wouldn't normally.
This is really important, right? So this has come from you, though, right? So as
Mm,
your compassionate self slowing down, you've recognized, hey, doing these things is damn stressful. When you're stressed, your attention really narrows in, and it's only focused in on those things that make the shop stressful. And so
mm,
you're really kind of focused in on, are the kids doing the right thing or not? Are people looking at me or not? Whereas, opening up, connecting to this compassionate self, it's kind of like, well, you know what? I could bring a list of things I need
mm,
in the meals that I've got, and that will make things, we think at least, slightly easier. Might not make it completely easy, but it might make things slightly easier when you're there. Yeah,
mm.
and there's a part of you that kind of feels like, you kind of mentioned there, so dumb that you didn't have this. What do you think that's about?
I just think, I don't know, like, I was
Yeah,
like, I was just thought to myself, why didn't you think of that earlier?
yeah, I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's like, ugh, yeah.
So
But
sometimes it's, oh yeah,
yeah,
sorry.
I was just gonna say, I guess I've never really thought about how to approach going shopping before. I just, because I'm just like, it's a terrible experience, just grin and bear it, just get to
Yes,
get through it. So this is like probably the first time I've,
Brennan Barrett.
yeah, prepared for going shopping. Yeah, because when you said that at the start,
Mm.
how do you normally prepare to go to the shops? I was like, get in the car.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and in some ways, the things we're talking about, they're not a miracle breakthrough or anything like that. We're kind of talking about a series of really small things, right? Like creating a list, giving a job or responsibility, remembering myself to connect to my breath. These are all small little things, but often those small little things, when they come together, and it can give us a sense that, hey, I've got somewhat of a plan here. It can be reassuring and help us feel a sense of confidence when we go out, because you kind of know what you're aiming to do.
Mm,
On top of that, though, you started to do some things really well and starting to break down the event from being a big shopping, let's grin and bear it, to hang on, there's shopping. I can do things to prepare myself in advance. There are things I can do during the shopping itself to remain composed and focused and compassionate. After the event, what would you usually do? You sort of mentioned in the past, if it's gone badly, you'd kind of ruminate on that and even criticize yourself.
mm.
If it goes well, what could you do after the event?
I think what would be, and what I want to do more of, which we've talked about, what I want to do more of is just like tell them how good they were. Like
Yeah.
say really like positive things like, oh, that you were so helpful. You did such a good job of listening. Um, And, maybe give like, when they have like a 90-cent Freddo and stuff, like maybe
Oh,
give them
yes,
like
yes,
a little
yes.
treat or something. Yeah, just to like, it's nice doing that instead of saying, you were so naughty, you didn't listen, to like make it a, yeah, nice experience for them as well.
So I mean, really what you're focusing on there is kind of some kind of really positive reward or kind of praise that you can let the kids know, hey, you're doing great, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, shopping is stressful, not only for you, but for children as well, you know, and you've mentioned that, you know, it is a difficult situation. Sometimes when you go shopping, the shops and the way they're kind of organized, there's a lot of lollies and candy at the eye level of the
Or
kids.
that they can reach it.
And often also today, you know, a lot of you don't see necessarily a lot of kids in the shops as well as more people go to ordering online and so on. So a lot of parents
Yeah.
find taking children shopping very difficult and very stressful. And also, you know, there is this sense that
Mm.
when I'm out there, if the kids do start to act up, what do the parents think? And so that's all there. But there's part of you that recognizes, no, this is something that is important to me. We do with the kids, go shopping, and as my compassion itself. And I just started to make some notes here, and I'm just going to share my screen with you so you can
Mhm.
see it. Can you see that there on the screen? This
Yep,
word
yeah, it's just come up. Yep.
just put together like a basic little table, going shopping with kids. Some of the logistic things that you were kind of mentioning, um, some other ideas, like time of day you might want to go. Like, you know, is it during a sleep period or is it a time when the kids are perhaps, you know, more alert and at their best kind of thing? You know, what you could do for the kids and what you could do for yourself. I mean, so it was important to hear after the event that you might do something for them. You mentioned a 90-cent Freddo Frog, like a little
Yeah.
chocolate, or descriptive praise, which was great. Praise them for what they did well.
Mm.
Um, I mean, that's just a fantastic idea. Um, but also, what about you? Like, how are you going to uh, reward yourself? I mean, this is a very stressful thing. When we face stressful challenges in life and we start to break them down into little events, sequences like this, and we can focus in, how are you going to, at the end of the shopping, reflect and reward yourself?
Um, that's hard.
That's
Um,
hard.
I like what you've got written there, telling John, because I always tell him about how hard it was.
Yes, yes,
Um, so I mean, if it's good, telling him that it's good.
yes, yes.
Um, can I give myself a little treat as well?
Of course, of course, of course. I mean, would there be a problem with doing that for yourself?
No.
What would worry you if you were to do that for yourself?
Like I feel I'm like, is that childish? And do I this is and I know I'm not being compassionate to myself, but this is what I thought. Do I actually deserve it?
Okay,
But
well, so that's important because that's something that immediately popped up for you. You can see it, your expression and kind of whole body language shifted there about, do I deserve my own reward? Almost like this sense that you should just be able to do this. You know, I
mm,
haven't achieved much here, right? Is there that kind of sense to it? Is there?
a little bit.
Okay.
But I'm also like, where's your compassionate friend, Catherine?
So
Well,
there is that part there. So there is that part there. So there is a sense now, perhaps that there's part of you that might not believe you're deserving of it. But despite that, do you think it's something you can do and just do it and see how it feels? It's almost like a sense of, as you said at the beginning, I just want to test this out and see how it goes with the
yeah,
kids.
yeah.
Could we bring that kind of approach? You know, I'm just going to do it and see how it feels for me. You know, as a little experiment, have a go, see what that's like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's where we are right now. And at least we're considering this, because it sounds like something that perhaps hasn't been considered in the past, particularly when you've talked about some of these parenting situations, which are very difficult.
Mm.
Okay, so what what I'm going to do is I'll email you that Word document I've put together. It's just the
Yeah,
beginning. It's
thanks.
just the
Yeah, yeah.
start. But what if we start to look at, okay, between now and our next session, we can have a look at how we can bring this compassionate self to help you not only prepare for going shopping, but also during the shopping event itself,
Mhm.
noticing the things that are going well, but also the things that perhaps, hang on, these are moments where I need to take a pause, connect to my green circle.
Mhm.
And there might be some other things that pop up for you that you can jot down on your list, because you can bring your list with you whilst you're going shopping.
Yeah.
And then things you might be able to do after the event. They don't have to be anything grand. They can be very small gestures. As you mentioned, just even a little chocky could do the trick, or
Yeah.
just even like a little inner self, hey, you've done well there. Just some kind of recognition of the fact that you have gone through something very stressful, very challenging, which is really difficult. And you've
Mhm.
tried to go about it purposefully through bringing on this compassionate self and trying. And these ideas that you've generated have come from within you, remember. These are your own wisdoms that you've allowed to come to the surface through bringing online deliberately and on purpose this compassionate self, which is often completely not in the picture, because it's kind of the approach typically is just grin and bear it. Let's get through it. And so it's almost kind of lost, as it were. So we're going to try something different. And then we can have a reflection on how that went in the next session.
Yeah, okay. That's
How
good.
does that sound for you?
Yeah, good.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, Chloe, thank you very much.
Thanks.